Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Silverstone is without question one of the most historic venues in all of motor racing. From the site of the first ever Formula One Grand Prix to countless touring car battles to classic showdowns on two wheels, there is no place in the world that has seen more series come through it than Silverstone Circuit. And today, the drivers of the iRacing Israel League look to add their name to that illustrious and historic rank of drivers that have been able to run around here. Welcome, everyone, to round 7 and 8 of the iRacing Israel League, brought to you here live on Apex Racing TV. My name is DJ Clark, and joining me behind the scenes today is Lewis Ward on director and producer duties. And as we begin to look at everything here, and before we get into the action, because drivers are qualifying right now, let's go ahead and run you through quickly the championship order here for these series. Up at the top of the pro category, it is John Chico leading the way, a pretty healthy gap over Tal Stern. You can see a pretty close running there in the back, though, between Stern, Yaron, Scherling, Malkov, Gabay, and Chashashvili, all certainly within a chance to be able to move their way up in the forward. In the AM standings, because we do have two categories out here today, it's a little bit closer up at the top of the charts between Bertie Galili and Really Sir. So that is going to be the battle that we are going to be attempting to keep our eyes on here today. But as I said, qualifying working its way along right now. It does look like Malkov is currently holding on to the toppest time. I do believe Ruben Chacha is going to be in P2. John Chico looks like he's P3 with Michael Scherling holding on to P4 right now. P5 looks to be Papachado, and then Zubarev and Tal Stern are going to round out the top 7. But this circuit is going to be one that you're going to have to drive around very, very trickily. This is not a straightforward circuit by any stretch of the imagination, and it certainly is one that has sort of all types of corners to be able to throw at you. You have the slow speed area of Village and the loop down through Aintree, and then the ridiculously fast run that is from Cops all the way up into Beckett's and then down into the Hangar Straight and onto Stowe. Now, all of that difficulty, though, it doesn't come at a price. There are still plenty of areas to overtake around here, and especially in these IRO4s, you're going to be able to find a little bit of room to maneuver, and I think that's certainly going to help things around here for these drivers and produce an absolutely fantastic race here today. But as we said, about a minute and a half left in qualifying right now. quite a few drivers have yet to put a time down on the board. That's a little bit surprising to me. I think you'd want to start a little bit farther up in the order, but it is a standing start here, so that could open up a little bit of an opportunity for a few drivers to be able to get their way up forward. And again, it will be the format for today. It's going to be one 20-minute race followed by a second 20-minute race. In that second 20-minute race, the top 10 will be inverted regardless of class. So the pros and AMs all jumbled up in that, and that can certainly change things around a little bit for these drivers. That we'll have to see if that is going to factor into the calculus. We've talked to a couple of drivers in the past that have talked about how they've sort of tried to position themselves a little bit at the end of the first running to be able to put themselves in a position to take advantage of that invert. We'll have to see if that plays true here today as well. But taking a look right there on your screen of that beautiful, beautiful Maggots, Beckett's Chapel sequence, and then down the Hamilton straight here, newly renamed, obviously, for 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, as they come out of club and work their way on through. About, looks like 10 seconds left here in qualifying, and that'll bring us to our first of two standing starts for the day. Going to be an absolutely cracker of a race out here. Of that, I am absolutely convinced of, as Silverstone always puts on a pretty fantastic display, no matter what kind of machinery you bring out here. And in these IRO4s, well, they're going to feel right at home, some open wheelers around Silverstone. You always love to be able to see that if you are a racing fan. Well, it looks like we are getting ready to go here as the field lines up on the grid right now, bringing their way into positions as they now line up there on the grid, trying to be able to see what they are, as that will bring us to our gridding order right now as we wait here for the field to fire off, as we said, trying to see what they are going to be able to do. As we continue to take a couple of looks over the track here right now, it is going to be Ruben Chacha lining up in pole position as we wait for the rest of the field to grid up. Still waiting for a decent amount there, but it's going to be Ruben Chacha, and then it looks like behind them it'll be John Chico, Michael Scherling, Lior Levi, Papasciuto, Tal Stern, Bertie Galili, Tomer Ventura, Nadav Yaron, Mark Zubarev, Yossi Gabe, Amir Hased, Enan Shear, Daddy Deog, then Madi Bakar, Anand Levi, Yarmarkov, and then Dror last, bringing up the back of the field here at this point. As now we just have to wait for everything to get going. As we said, still waiting for a couple of drivers, including Ruben Chacha, to line up on the grid here at this point. Waiting. This is always the most terrifying time. If you are one of these drivers, you've got to really be a little bit worried and try to fight down those emotions as much as possible. As there come the lights starting to come on. The whole field is gridded up here at this point, and there goes the green. We are racing here in Silverstone as they get away to the line right now, trying to see what they are able to do, working their way now down through the corner, trying to see what it is. It looks like right now the Ruben Chacha is going to hold off to the lead. Looks like Bertie Galili losing a couple of positions there in the back as they continue to try to cycle their way through the corners. They continue to work their way through. Looks like Ruben Chacha is going to be able to hold off onto the lead there. Tomo Ventura trying to close in the farther back into the pack right now. Waiting to see how they're all going to play themselves out here as drivers continue to work their way around through the corners right now, seeing what they are able to get going. Looks like a little bit of movement there farther back in the field as they run. And you're going to have to hold on with us for one quick second, as it looks like I'm having a little bit of an issue here on our timing and scoring screen, and unfortunately I'm not being able to see live pictures at the moment. So if you'll just bear with us for 1 second, we will get that back to you. All right, thank you for bearing with us through that, folks. Just a little bits of kerfluffles going on here from the commentary booth right now as we now look and working their way on down through the corners here. We keep our eyes focused on that long run going down the hangar straight, trying to work their way on through, trying to see if there's going to be anything to play out here for the drivers right now. As everything continues to play around right now, looks like John Chico there sitting in second place position, just hold on as much as possible. Hold with us here for just one more minute, folks. It's just one of those days where we've got a little bit of technical difficulties here that we are struggling with, but we will be back with you live with pictures here in just a few moments' time. 1,000 apologies about that, folks, as it does look like now we've been able to sort out our problems, and we join right in the heat of a very good battle there between Yossi Gabe and Tal Stern as they try to work their way down through Maggots and Beckett's right now. The number 17 of Yossi Gabe really putting pressure there, trying to get onto the loud pedal, coming out of that tricky run down onto Chapel. Now they work their way onto the hangar straight, and there comes that draft that we were talking about a little bit earlier on. Yossi Gabe is going to try to poke his nose to the outside. That's Bertie Galili there as well in the number 420, trying to be able to hold on along for the ride as they now come down through Stowe Corner, bringing everything around down the little bit of the run of the hill as they work their way into Vale right now. It looks like there the Yossi Gabe is going to be able to hold on to that position, up 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. Gabe certainly on a charge here early on as they continue on here working their way through. About 10 minutes down in this 20-minute race, so about halfway over, but it doesn't look like Tal Stern has any impetus to stop here at this moment. He does not want to sacrifice that position too easily. He's going to stick to the back here of Yossi Gabe as they work their way down through Abbey and now through Farm, even a flat-out corner here in these IRO4s as they now come around here through the loop and into Aintree. There is Bertie Galili a little bit farther back in the field. He's going to have a little bit of pressure behind him coming from Amir Hassed as they work their way on to the Wellington Straight right now. Again, this is another area where that draft is going to come into play. They try to see what he's able to do. A little bit of a poke to the inside there for Amir Hassed. That's not going to play itself out necessarily. He's going to be forced to stay in line as they come down through Love Field and out through Woodcut right now. Oh, and it's a spin in the back. It's a spin in the back for Amir Hassed, just goosing the throttle a little bit. I would have to imagine he got onto things a little bit too early, and that was just enough to be able to send him around and spinning the wrong way. Not the best run there for him, but here is Tal Stern getting run very far off the track as he tries to keep up with Yossi Gabe in that green number 17. They're now going to flick their way through Maggots and Beckett's right now, trying to see what they are able to do. It slowly gets its way back into single file order here as they pilot their way now back on to the hangar straight, and it's going to be the same run on a different day here if you are Yossi Gabe, working to the inside, what will be the outside of Tal Stern as they bring their way now down into Stowe Corner, trying to carry that momentum around the outside. Is the number 17, trying to see what he's able to do through the right-hander, and again, he's going to be able to get ahead, but does Tal Stern have a little bit of a fight back here? He's going to stay in line as they break heavily down into the left-hander of Vale, and then flick back to the right there to bring around the long club corner. Both drivers careful to avoid the big sausage curbs up on the inside. They're going to keep themselves in single-file order. Right up ahead of them, Tomer Ventura sits, let's call it about 1.6 seconds up the road from these two. He's going to be pretty happy to see these two drivers battling there behind. I would have to think it's going to be music to his ears here at this point. But as they break down into the right-hander of Abbey, or the right-hander of Village, rather, I do believe that was a little bit of a lockup there from Tal Stern. They now get onto the loud pedal, coming down through Aintree. This is where we saw Tal Stern be able to mount a little bit of a fight back, but I think he's a little bit too far back here at this point. Call him about 4.8, call him about 0.48, almost 0.5 of a second behind, and now he's got to worry about Bertie Galili behind him. Let's give some love up to the front of the field, though. Ruben Chacha, absolutely dominant since the drop of the green flag. He's already extended about a 5-second gap here over your second-place driver of John Chico, just running off into the distance here at this point, doing some very impressive running is Ruben Chacha. I've got to say, I am very surprised that he is able to just pull away with such magnitude as this. There is John Chico. Chico involved in a little bit of a battle here with Michael Sherling there behind him. Sherling trying to close in, and let's not count out Leor Levi, the fourth-place driver here, who's certainly close enough to make things interesting as we tick closer and closer to the end of this first heat race. Again, a 20-minute race, and then we will have another 20-minute race with an invert. We check back in on that battle behind. We said that The number 13 of Tomer Ventura was not going to go quietly, and certainly it looks like he's been caught up there a little bit, and that's going to be Yossi Gabe able to get on by him. Yossi able to send a move down the hanger straight into Stowe, able to get the move done before they went into the right-hander, though, so that does mean that he is going to be able to be a little bit farther ahead. Another big break lock up there from the number 11 of Tal Stern. It looks like he's just struggling for control a little bit. Oh, big hop there over the sausage curve. That is going to send him up skyward. He's going to be able to get all 4 tires back onto the black stuff, but not before losing a position to Birdie Galili. Now it is going to be Galili who is going to be on the attack here, as that is going to be Tal Stern spinning off in the background. Oh my goodness, it all going to naught here for Tal Stern, and I think he may have even had a little bit of internet issues there just to add to a little bit of the embarrassment. We focus back in on the battle with Birdie Galili now. Birdie Galili trying to hunt down Tomer Ventura. The gap about 42 hundredths of a second as they continue to work their way down the Wellington Straight right now. Trying to see what they are going to be able to do here. Looking down into Brooklands, not looking like there's going to be any attack there for Birdie Galili, but Galili definitely wants to try to be able to get his way by, if at all possible. He's going to bring the car there out of the corners and through Woodcut right now, trying to see what he is able to do. Getting onto the loud pedal here. Not really able to get anything going as they now fling their way into Cops right now. That gap starting to expand a little bit. It's about 0.5 of a second right now as they run. He's going to be falling back in line here, and especially coming through Maggots right now, I don't think he's going to be able to get too much gained up behind. He wants to be able to stay within about a second, though, because that is going to be the maximum amount of the draft that we will see. Now, your leaders here at this point with lap times at just about 2 minutes, and we've got about 4 minutes on the charts here. So I'm going to imagine that we're probably coming to the line here with about 2 laps to go. The battle right now for P2 certainly firing itself off. John Chico may be losing out a position there, as yes, indeed, the number 200 able to send that move around. That's Michael Scherling able to get the move done. That'll move him up into P2 here, but I don't think John Chico is going to let that go too quietly. By the way, the last lap for your leader, Ruben Cha-Cha, was the fastest lap of the race set down thus far. But we keep our eyes on the battle for P2 right now, about 7 seconds back behind Ruben Cha-Cha, as this is Michael Scherling and John Chico duking it out. Chico just having been passed, coming down through Vale and Club. Looks like here that Chico's now going to tuck up behind in the draft at the Wellington Straight, trying to see what he is able to do. They're going to get down onto the binders here, coming into Brooklands. Let's see what he is able to do. Takes a little bit of a later apex there, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. A little bit of correction there in front from Scherling, but he's going to hold the inside line coming down through Lovefield. They're now going to work their way down out of the corner and through the swift right-hander that leads onto the old pit straightaway. The draft certainly coming into play here for John Chico, taking every inch of the track as they run. Chico's going to be close. He's going to be thinking about a move into Cops, but he's not going to go for it. He's going to back off and allow for Scherling to be able to pull away just a little bit to the tune of about 0.3 of a second here. Now they get their they get their way to go here through Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see what they are able to do. Doesn't look like here that Chico's able to gain any ground here through the first part of the corners. Now through Beckett's and out onto Chapel, onto the hanger straight right now. It certainly looks like he lost a little bit of ground, about 0.5 of a second. There you can see way off into the distance. That is your leader, Ruben Cha-Cha, just absolutely blitzing the field here at this point. That gap now upwards of about 8 seconds as he gets ready to cross over. And indeed, he's only got about 2 seconds on the clock, and that is going to be the white flag in the air. White flag in the air for your leader, for Ruben Cha-Cha. But this battle here for P2 to Electric to take our eyes off of, as the 200 continues to hold off the advances here of John Chico. Scherling doing a fantastic job, but does he have enough here to be able to hold off that 0-4? Little bit of a look going down into Abbey. That's not going to play out. Tries to keep to the inside there of Farm. That's not going to play itself out either. The 4 swinging the car very, very wide on the exit of Farm, now into Village. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get anything there. as they now dive down into the loop and through Aintree. Both cars letting it run very, very wide to the outside of the track. Here they come. This is the Wellington Straight. I would really say this is one of the few times that you may be able to get a pass done if you're John Chico. Chico knows that. He's going to start to apply some pressure to the back here, but a little bit of a move in on the line there for Sherling is going to prevent an attack as they go down through Brooklands and now into Luffield. It doesn't look like here that Chico is going to be able to close in as they work their way on to the old pit straight here. And indeed, he's lost a little bit of time. If the gap is now at about 0.4 of a second, he has got it all to do. He absolutely needs the most perfect run he can get through Maggots and Beckett's. That is where he needs to be perfect, but he's still losing time. The gap 4.5 of a second now here as they go. He's going to look down into the corner right now as we look out the back of the number 200 of Michael Sherling. It just doesn't look like he is able to close in here at this point, but better line through Beckett's and now out through Chapel. That could be a saving grace. No, it looks like he carried too much speed. John Chico did and had to check himself up. That's going to lose him time, and the gap is now 4.5 of a second as they work their way down the hangar straight. But it is no concern here for your leader, Reuven Cha-Cha, who has led since the drop of the green flag and absolutely scampered off into the distance. Reuven Cha-Cha comes out of club for the final time to take victory in race number 1 in round number 7 here for the iRacing Israel League. An absolutely commanding drive for that number 1 car. Oh, we've got one more lap. Excuse me, we have got one more lap to run. The iRacing timing and scoring gods lied to me. It's not done yet, as Cha-Cha has just got one more parade lap, ostensibly, to be able to get around here, and that's going to be good news to the ears of John Chico, who's going to have another chance to be able to close in on the back of Michael Sherling up ahead of him, but that gap continues to grow. It's now 7.5 of a second as they come onto the Wellington Straight. I dare say that at this point, this is going to be him losing position. He is not going to be able to do this unless we see a monumental error out of Michael Sherling. But stranger things have happened around this Silverstone circuit. They work their way through Luffield right now. Looks like a good line for the number 200 of Michael Sherling, as now they work their way through the right-hander of Woodcote, bringing it back on to the old pit straight. They're going to come along here. That's the old Levi lurking in the background. No real contest to either of these drivers. Through Cops right now. They bring the cars up and over that tricky corner. We've seen so many flashpoints there over the course of years in that car. We check a little farther back in the field. This is Tomer Ventura, the top place of your AM drivers here at this point. Tomer has been able to withstand any assault from this man, Bertie Galili, in the number 420, just absolutely being able to speed away from him to the tune really of about 3 seconds. So kudos there to Tomer Ventura, who looks on pace, knock on wood, to be able to take victory here. But Reuven Cha-Cha now coming through the final corners for the final time. We can guarantee that, as he will come out of club for the final time, crossing the start-finish line, and he will take victory in race number 1. Behind him, Michael Sherling is able to hold on and hold off the assault there of John Chico, and that will be your pro podium. Leo Levi is going to come across the line there in 4th place. A little bit farther back here is Tomer Ventura. Remember, we talked about that gap. He was able to grow over Yossi Gabe, and certainly looks like it has been absolutely fantastic here for him. He's going to come out of the final corner, and he will take victory in the AM category. Bertie Galili went a little bit of a race there to the line with Papachado. He is going to come through there. Aiden Shear now coming down through the final couple of corners. This is going to be 10th place overall and 5th in that AM category. He will bring that purple and blue number 2 out of the final corner to cross over the line and take 5th. Here is Amir Hassed, as he will do the same in 6th place in that AM category. Dror Last is the other driver that we're waiting on here to come across the line. Looks like he will be able to cross over. Love that livery here to be running at Silverstone. It's a good throwback there. Nadav Yaron, the next driver to come across the line, he got into a little bit of problems there, down 3 positions on the day, as was Mark Zubarev, was down 3. Here he comes across the line. There is Dayog as he comes through. Yari Molkov also going to be coming across the line here, and Yarmakov is the last driver to finish, the number 71, up 1 position on the day. He will finish 9th in that Am category. So that means that he will bring his way out and around, and there he goes. And that will be your final finishers there for your first race here from Silverstone, as we will bring you through the starting grid for race number 2. Lining up in pole position, courtesy of the invert, it will be Aiden Shear, followed by Arnon Levi, Avaron Papashoto, then it's Bertie Galili, Tomer Ventura, Yossi Gabe, Lior Levi, John Chico, Michael Sherling, and last race winner, Ruben Chacha. Amir Asad's going to line up in 11th, followed by Dror last, and then 13th will be Nadav Yaron, followed by Mark Zuvarev. Dayag will be 15th, followed by Yari Malkov, then Aviad Yarmakov, Tal Stern, and Madi Bakar will bring up the back of this grid. Well, folks, we re-rack, we re-stack, and we do it all over again. Another 20-minute race on the docket for you here today. It is going to be Aiden Shear, as we mentioned, leading off in pole position as we wait for the lights to start to come on. 3 lights are on, all lights are on, and there goes the green. We are racing in Silverstone. That was a terrible getaway from the 420 of Bertie Galili, I believe. Didn't get off the line whatsoever. It looks like Aiden Shear's going to be able to hold off and maybe be able to hold the lead going down into the corner, but I see a big amount of brake smoke coming up in front. A couple of drivers running very, very close with one another. Up in front of the field, there is Shear. Now it's the number 13 trying to move his way forward here a little bit as they run very, very wide there through the first couple of corners here as they go. Bertie Galili working down to the inside. There is your second place driver right now in the number 13 trying to see what he is able to do. Contact further back in the field, and I think Chico was one of those involved, and indeed that looks like some wheel damage there to John Chico. That may be him out of the race. My goodness gracious, that is an absolute tragedy for one of the favorites here today. It looks like Arnon Levi is the other driver to be involved in that. Not what you want to see here today whatsoever. Oh my goodness. But right now we ride on board with Ruben Chacha, the number 1. He was able to take the winner in race number 1. He's looking down to the inside there of Lior Levi, already being pretty aggressive there and already up 5 positions. He knows what's at stake. Looking down to the inside here. He's going to have to go around the outside of Maggots as they come down through the corner. Is he going to try to stick that out? No, he's not. Discretion proving the better part of valor here for Ruben Chacha, being very, very cautious, wants to be able to get those positions as much as possible, as that's somebody off there in front of him. Not entirely sure who that was. As I look ahead, I couldn't tell. That may have been Yossi Gabe. It was Tomer Ventura, excuse me. Tomer Ventura having an off in front, and that's going to be side by side now with the number 17 as they come down into the corner right now. Ooh, that's Yossi Gabe that was able to get that move done. And here comes the flock of Hornets behind them. The number 46 of Lior Levi trying to take a little bit of a look. Ooh, that's going to get a little bit careful. Chico over the radio just talking to a few drivers, maybe telling them to calm down. Ooh, a little bit of an interesting line there, it has to be said, for the number 1 of Ruben Chacha, almost going off the track. And who is that slow? That's Tomer Ventura slow. I wonder if he potentially picked up a slowdown penalty, and that's what put him back down in the field. But 1 lap down and in the books, and that means here at this point that Ruben Chacha is already up 8 positions over the course of 1 lap. I think it's maybe a matter of if, not when, he is going to be able to get his way back up to the front of this field, as that's a spinner in front. That's Papashoto having a big around there coming through the infield section. Not good there for him. Ruben Chacha, though, has his sights set on Yossi Gabe. He's going to look down to the inside here, coming into the corners, trying to see what he is able to get. I'm not seeing anything being played out there as they go through Brooklands, but he is going to try the long way around Lovefield, maybe looking for a little bit of an over-under here, trying to see what he is able to do. That's not going to play itself out. He's going to have to fall back into line here behind Yossi Gabe, taking a tighter line there through Woodgut, as now he's going to bring his way out to the outside. Is he going to try to swing around the outside here of Cops? Let's see what he does. He's going to hold it bravely there around the outside. Doesn't get an off track. I don't know if he still has enough crossover to be able to chuck the car down into Maggots. Let's see, and that's going to be the 46 of Lior Levi getting involved in this as well. We've got a 3-car battle here coming through one of the trickiest sections on the track, and look at that. That's going to be the 17 around. That is your own around. Oh my goodness. Yossi Gabe around. Absolute tragedy coming through Beckett's. 3 cars involved in that as we watch Lior Levi waiting to try to get back out onto the track. Oh, you hate to see that in racing, but Ruven Chacha is going to be up into P2, and that is going to promote Tal Stern and Mark Zubarev up into third and fourth overall in the race. Zubarev now running in second in that AM class. And now they continue their way around. We follow Mark Zubarev as he tries to close in on the back of Tal Stern right now, getting a lot of pressure from behind from Nadav Yaron as well. Yaron's going to be able to get his way by Zubarev here at this point. A couple of drivers coming into pit lane, including Tomer Ventura and Yossi Gabe. Not entirely surprised with that. A little bit of a back off there for them as we got another little bit of side-by-side. Malkov trying to see what he is able to do over Diag. Here they go down to the corner. That's going to be Yari Malkov able to hold that out for now. He's going to be sitting pretty in that position. Now we've got to focus back in on the battle for the lead as Ruven Chacha tries to see what he is able to do over Aiden Shear. It's going to be a drag race coming down into Brooklands. On the inside is Ruven Chacha. Later on the brakes is Ruven Chacha, and into the lead goes Ruven Chacha. Just as he did in the first race, he is up in that top position once again. Dare I say, we may not need to focus on him a whole lot longer, because something tells me that that number one machine is going to positively streak off into the distance. But what we do need to focus on is a little farther back down in the field here. This is Dayag having a very, very close fight with Papachado right now. Remember Papachado having that spin that we saw a little bit earlier, the number 60, able to hold off Dayag for now. But Dayag's going to get a nice little heaping of the draft here coming down the old start-finish straightaway. Is he going to think about a move going down into Cops? No, but he's going to run wide. The car just not wanting to grip up in front of him, and I think part of the reason you can see on that is the damage on the front of that car. We jump back up farther in the field. This is Nadav Yaron trying to close in on Tal Stern. Stern runs a little bit wide there on the exit of Maggots, but he's able to still maintain plenty of speed as they go. He's going to be able to have a nice little pull here as we are over the quarter mark here in this race, closing in on 7 minutes done. On 6 minutes done as they continue to work their way through right now. Better line through the corner for Nadav Yaron as he's going to try to maybe have a little bit of a look here going down into Vale. Thinks about it, muscles his way on through, but he's not going to be able to get the crossover now coming into Club, and he's just going to have to continue as much speed as possible. Now this is Mark Zubarev, second in the AM category, 5th overall. Zubarev is sitting in that popcorn position to this battle between Stern and Yaron right in front of him. He is just waiting to pick up the pieces here. Absolutely remarkable stuff for him. He is doing exactly what he needs to do and what I would be doing in this position, which is let these two drivers in front of you fight, let them scrap it out, and just pick up the pieces wherever you can. Poke your nose a little bit down to the inside there of the loop and see what you are able to do. But doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a move done here at this point. He's going to stay in line. Yaron, however, looks like he may have a little bit of a drag here coming down into Brooklands. He's going to poke his nose down to the inside. Let's see if the 22 is able to get that move done on the 11 of Tal Stern. And yes, it does look like that move is going to be taken care of. So a good play there for Nadav Yaron. He is going to be sitting pretty here and maybe be able to scamper off into the distance to secure down that second place in the pro category. As we continue to watch right now out the rear wing of Nadav Yaron's machine, Tal Stern trying to keep up close, trying to not let the car run too wide there on the exit of Cobb. Zubarev there has to be a little bit careful not to do that. You can pick up an off track there. You can pick up a slowdown penalty indeed by running too wide on the exit of Cobb. So you've got to be very, very careful about that. As now we watch coming down out of the corners. They continue to work their way through, and here they go, coming down the long hanger straight. Can the number 11 here of Tal Stern be able to get anything to do? It doesn't look like it, but he's certainly not letting Yaron scamper off into the distance, which is a credit there to him. We ride on board with the number 11 right now, as he tries to get something there going down into Vale. Doesn't quite look like that'll play out for him. He's going to have to fall back into line right now. He's going to have to try to work his way around. Farther back in the field, this is the number 71 there of Yarmakov trying to work his way forward. I believe that's Dayag, and gets it all wrong coming up through Stowe. A little bit too much speed for the 71, and that's going to be enough to send him right around to the number 5 of Dayag. That is going to throw him off as well, and both drivers finding themselves in problems, and indeed Yarmakov is going to come into pit lane here at this point. Dayag looks like he's going to be able to continue on and keep on going. Up at the front of the field, let's give some love to our leader, Reuven Chacha, who once again is pulling an absolutely monstrous gap up at the front of this field. That is going to be Chacha pulling out that gap here of about 8 seconds now as Tal Stern is gone around. I'm not sure if that was contact induced there or if that was a self-spin for the number 11. Let's go back and check out the replay here. This is Stern coming down into the corner right now. Brings it down. Oh, he saw a little bit of an opening. He thought he could carry a little bit too much speed through that corner, and unfortunately, it just came back to bite him. It came back to bite him there, and that certainly did not look like the way he wanted to go. This is Yari Malkov, though, as he tries to be able to get by Amir Hased. Hased having a little bit of internet connection issues there. That's why you see that blinking on your screen. That's what that indicates. Is now Yarmakov is going to be dropping, or Hased's going to drop down at least one position. Tal Stern may be able to close in on him as well. We know the speed out of that number 11. It's just going to be a matter of if he is able to close it down here at this point. Hased looking to try to be defensive there around the outside, but I think Tal Stern is going to have that move done as they work their way up and over Stowe. And yes, indeed, that is going to be the number 11 into clear air. Ooh, but those blinks are starting to get a little bit scary. And as a driver, if you are in Tal Stern's position, there is nothing more terrifying than seeing that driver blinking because you do not know where they are going to reappear. They could very well reappear right on top of you. And so you need to be very, very heads up and very, very careful about how and when to make those moves. You see him giving plenty of space there to the inside. Now he's going to cut down as he was able to see him there and visualize Hased in the background. Papashato also able to get on by as well, so that's going to move him up into second place in that AM category. A great run here for Avaram. As we focus back in on P2 overall and your AM class leader here at this point, this is Aiden Scher holding off on Nadav Yaron, who's trying to close in behind. Now again, this is not a position for class, remember. This is a position within different classes. Sure, running in that AM category, Yaron running in that pro category. So that is a difference there between, and I wonder if that's going to calculate here into Aiden Scher's logic, if he is going to think about maybe backing off a little bit, letting Yaron on by. But then again, you tell a racing driver that they don't need to be doing any passing, and, well, they're going to be doing passing. As here comes Yaron trying to make that pass up into the inside of Maggots, and it looks like there that the number 2 read that writing on the wall, backed off and let him on by. So I think a little bit of a heads-up play there for him. Farther back in the field, this is Tal Stern holding off, or trying to go to the inside there of Papashato, and contact there as they came through Beckett's. This has been a very, very scruffy day and an uncharacteristic day for the number 11 of Tal Stern. He's normally one of the cleaner drivers in the field, so not entirely sure what is going on there with Tal, but he has just had a scruffy day out here at Silverstone. He's now going to find himself under a little bit of attack from Zubarev behind him as Bertie Galili is now trying to get that move done on Zubarev, as there Zubarev is going to be able to carry the momentum around the outside of Stowe and be able to hold that at bay for now. The number 200, by the way, that we did see that I thought was Mark Zubarev, that's actually Michael Sterling. That is a lapped car that is right behind Tal Stern, so of no concern right there. Continue to watch Bertie Galili, though, working his way around. Interesting that I just saw Yari Malkov set the fastest lap of the race out of 4th overall, so Malkov clearly has some speed underneath him there. Maybe got a little bit of the toe from Aiden Scher up in front of him. That could have been a contributing factor, potentially. Now, these two are another battle that is not in class with one another. Malkov, rather, is in that pro category. Aiden Scher is in that AM category, so not a battle in class there. But about 7 minutes left to go here in this race as drivers continue to circulate their way around right now. As there you see Tal Stern moving his way ahead, trying to get down to the inside there of the very heavily blinking Amir Hased. Hased it looks like he's clear, and it does look like here at this point that Tal Stern was able to get up and on by him, so that's going to be good news for him. Aiden Shear, though, now finds himself under attack from Yari Malkov. Malkov going to get a little bit of a better run there off of the corner as they now blast their way down into Maggots and Beckett's. He's going to try to hold it to the inside of Maggots, and once again, we see a good little lift off there from Aiden Shear. I think Aiden recognizing that that is not a battle for class, wanting to pull out of that battle and not let any of that go to naught. He is going to be able to get a nice helping of the slipstream here and be able to pull himself along. Aiden does have a pretty decent gap, it has to be said, a pretty decent gap. He's got about 8 seconds back the road to the next driver on the track, and that's going to be Tal Stern. So he's got plenty of time there at that point. Aiden Shear is able to certainly be in good position here and not have to worry about any more attacks. And he's going to be, I think, sleeping pretty soundly with that information. As now he pilots his way around. 6.5 minutes left to go here around this historic Silverstone circuit. There you see Yari Malkov really taking advantage, absolutely pushing every inch that he can to try to get that car off to the side and really move it around here. As Malkov continues to run in 3rd place overall and 3rd place in that pro category. The gap between himself and Nadav Yaron up ahead of him is about 13 seconds, and it's about 11 seconds between this man and Nadav Yaron. Your leader, Reuven Chacha, remember, he started in P10, courtesy of the invert here in this race, and now he finds himself back up into the leading position. That is a very, very impressive run, and let's not forget, he did that in about 2 or 3 laps time. I think it goes without saying that Reuven Chachashvili certainly finds himself in a position where he is right at home on this circuit. He feels very, very comfortable around here. As we watch him pilot his way through the corners, he is going to have a little bit of lap traffic that he's going to have to deal with up in front of him. I'm not entirely sure who that is here at this point, but certainly a slower car out on the track. I think that may be Tomer Ventura, if I am reading correctly, as it looks like that is the number 13. That is indeed Tomer Ventura that he will have to deal with. So Tomer, obviously one of the more experienced drivers in this series, so he will no doubt be aware that the leader is coming up behind him. As we're going to jump back here to a replay brought to you by SDK Gaming. This looks like Dayag having a little bit of a problem. Now this is going to be coming down into the loop here. Oh, that's very strange. It looks like he just absolutely floored the throttle coming out of that corner, and that's what sent him around. So a very, very strange incident there for him. Not entirely sure what happened, and we'll sort of have to see maybe what exactly went down. But we follow here Bertie Galili, who's closing down on Mark Zubarev up ahead of him. This is still a battle that is firing off here at this stage in the race. Trying to see if he's going to be able to close in on Zubarev. The gap holding right now at about 0.8 of a second as they work their way around. They don't want to waste too much time squabbling with each other. Yossi Gabe is about 2.2 seconds behind the two of them, so that does mean that he'll have a little bit of work to do. Also, we've got a little bit of a battle here up for P2, and P2 in the pro category, as Nadav Yaron has been caught here by Yari Malkov, and Malkov doing everything that he can do to maybe try to take this 2nd place away here from Yaron, as they come down through Lovefield right now, trying to see what they are able to do. Coming down here onto the old pit straightaway. Going to take full advantage of the draft here. Everybody moving their way over to the right-hand side of the track as much as possible. Trying to see what they've got. Oh, a little bit of a defensive line there from Yaron, but they're going to stay in line through Cobbs. Here they come up through the corner. We've seen this move play itself out pretty well a couple of times here earlier on. Is Yaroslav Malkov going to be able to send that corner in? No, he is going to have to back off as they come through Maggots right there. Now through Beckett's. This is crucial to see who's going to be able to get the best run down that hanger straight. It looks like here at this point that they're about equidistant from each other, but again, Malkov is going to have that draft coming into play here as Yuri Malkov looks to the inside. I think that was more of a move to just try to shake Nadav Yaron off the line a little bit rather than actually go for a pass, but look at all of that closing speed, just able to carry so much more momentum coming up through Stowe. Again, a big look. That's going to force Yaron to go defensive down to the inside as your leader crosses over the line there. I believe this is white flag lap for both drivers as there's only about a minute and a half left on the clock. So it's now or never time for Yuri Malkov as they're going to cross over the line here with about a minute and a half left to go. Let's see if Malkov has got something here. They work their way through Abbey. Now they come up through Farm right now. Looking down to the inside. Is he going to have anything to play for? Doesn't look like it here at this point. Is he going to be able to work his way around? Is he going to be able to have anything to fight for? No, not at this point. He's going to have to keep himself in line here and not go for anything as they run. Now he's going to look for the run. Going defensive is Yaron up in front of him. Getting the draft here is going to be Malkov. Very defensive line for Nadav Yaron. And this is going to be Yuri Malkov trying to carry that speed around the outside. A little bit of a break lock up as they went down into Brooklands. But that's going to favor back to Yuri Malkov. And Malkov has got the move done. Unless Nadav Yaron has got a little bit of a fight back here as they work their way through Woodcut. It doesn't look like he's going to have it here for the moment, but he is going to push ahead with everything that he's got. Is he going to have a look coming down into Cops? It certainly looks that way. He pokes his nose to the inside, does the number 22. They're going to be inches from each other as they work their way through Cops. No coming together there. They're still going to be close, but it's going to be Malkov able to pull ahead by the time they get into Maggots and Beckett's. My goodness gracious, that is open wheel racing at its finest. Great respect shown among those two drivers, and it's not done yet. Nadav Yaron could have a little bit of a fight back if he's able to nail the exit there through Beckett's. But up ahead of them, all of that battling has allowed for this man, Reuven Chacha, to hold on to a nearly 16, nearly 17 second lead at the front of the race. He brings the car down through Vale and through Club for the final time as here comes Reuven Chacha making it 2 for 2 on the day. A little bit of a spin out, a little bit of a moving donut for Chacha as he takes victory. Behind him, Yaron trying to see if he's able to get anything in these last couple of corners over Malkov. Malkov looks like he's going to be able to hold it out, and indeed with the heroic last lap pass, Yuri Malkov will take second, followed by Nadav Yaron. Aiden Shear with a great drive will be able to come home in P1 in that AM category, and Tal Stern here will come home 5th overall and 4th in the pro class. Amir has said, despite his internet connection issues, will be able to cross over in P2, followed by Zubarev and Galili in P4 for that AM category. Yossi Gabe will finish 5th in the pros, and then here is Dror last as he brings his way down through the final corners. Leo Levi right there behind him in the number, or Arnon Levi, excuse me, right there behind him in the number 39. As he brings the car across the line right now. That will be the finishing there for him. Here comes Deag as he brings his way down through Stowe for the final time right now, waiting to see what he is able to do at the line. Yarmakov, the only other driver behind him yet to finish here at this point. Daddy Deag coming through the line right now. He is going to bring that car out of Club, and he will cross over the line 6th in the pro category. Yarmakov now the final driver that we are waiting for to cross over the line here as he gets onto the binders, down into the braking zone for Vale, and now through Club for the final time, and that will be your 7th place driver in the AM category coming to the line and taking that position. A fantastic spat of driving here. Silverstone never, ever, ever disappoints. It has to be said. Let's go ahead and run you through that final finishing order here. As we said, it was Reuven Chacha up at the top of the charts, followed by Malkov and Yaron. Then Aiden Shear was able to take victory in the AM category. Tal Stern 4th in the pros. Then Amir Hassed and Mark Zubarev, who round out your podium in the AM category. 4th place in AM was Bertie Galili. 5th place in pro, Yossi Gabe, and 5th place in the AMs was Dror last. And that is going to wrap up our racing action here for today. We're going to hold on for a minute to see if we are joined by any of our drivers for an interview. I think particularly I would love to talk to Ruben Chacha here, who normally comes in to chat with us. So that would be a good one. But the next race we head to, just to give you a little bit of a preview, it's another Formula One style circuit, and it's one of the best in the form of the Spa-Francorchamps. These drivers are going to have their hands full not only with the track itself, but riding on those track limits. Always very, very difficult to be able to try to manage, particularly coming down through Pouhon and into some of those areas, the high-speed middle section of the track. That will be a big challenge for those drivers. We take a look back at the restart, or at the start of that second race. As we said there, the 420 of Bertie Galili didn't get the best start there. Really and truly just looked like he got caught a little bit napping, and I didn't notice that in the back. That was Michael Scherling that had a little bit of contact. I'm not sure exactly who that was with behind, if that was in front or behind him, but Shirley certainly coming out the worse for wear on that, and that would explain that pit stop that we saw out of Scherling and his reasoning for being so far down the order. We normally see Michael a little bit farther ahead, but this was the start of the run here for Ruben Chachashvili, as he certainly was just able to put on a fantastic display here, slicing and dicing his way up through the field, and really doing an amazing job. Again, 8 positions gained over the course of that first lap alone. I cannot stress that enough. It was remarkable to see for him to be able to do that. Really and truly very impressed with Ruben's performance here on the day. As there was the other big coming together between the 4 there. You saw him spinning off into the side. That was John Chico, another favorite of the day, taken out here early with just a little bit of a misunderstanding. John was able to get back out onto the track, but you can see with that right rear wheel there kind of flopping around a little bit, it looked like that car was in a bit of hurt. As there you can actually see the damaged toe link as compared to the proper looking toe link. Thank you to our director, Lewis Ward, for that. That was the perfect visualization of it. Ruben Chacha continued to move his way up through the field, as we said. An absolutely stellar drive here for him, and indeed for all of our drivers around a very tricky Silverstone circuit. And well, folks, unfortunately, it does look like we're not going to have anybody here to talk to us today, and that's a bit unfortunate. I was really looking forward to speaking to Ruben, if at all possible. But, as I said, we will be back in 2 weeks' time for that race at Spa-Francorchamps. You are not going to want to miss that one whatsoever. But on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, as well as our director and producer, Lewis Ward, behind the scenes, it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the racing action today here from the iRacing Israel League. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.